Hey guys, this is one of the things that we really needed to get an update out about after we were done reviewing all of the 11/12 footage that we have so far. Now remember, we are still waiting for MPD to give us the 12:55 a.m. to 2:25 a.m. portions of the camera. There's been all kinds of drama with that. If you are not caught up with that, it's in all the lives. There's videos about it. It's been an entire mess. Maybe I need to go ahead and put a community post out just so we can keep referencing that. This was something that we discussed multiple times. We discussed it in video form, we discussed it in a live, and then when the update happened, we found out during the live because we were looking for something else on the ISP portal regarding the case. So we stopped, did this update, and it's been probably a week now. This has been needing to come out. So I'm going to go ahead and play what this is about, clips from the live where I brought this to you guys' attention and put all the information together. Then I'm going to play a clip where I read Idaho State Police's response regarding this situation with Bryan Kohberger's name showing up as technically the second suspect in their documents on December 5th, 2022. I still don't have any information as to why there is a primary suspect that stays listed in the number one spot all the way until the very end of these documents. Maybe I'm going to have to put in another FOIA, but with the name being redacted in these, I don't think they're going to be able to tell me anything, but I damn sure will try to get some answers on that. But for now, this is the update on this information. I'm going to let this play, and then I will be back at the end with my opinion on what I think might be happening here. Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. Oh, guys, we got new ISP documents on 12/5/25. Forensic documents clarification released on 12/5/25. I hope this is what Sarah sent me. Oh, okay. Yes, perfect. Okay, so do you guys remember when I did a video and I was like, why in the hell does it show Bryan Kohberger's name on December 5th? We went through all the information. This is a video that I needed to do, but then all of this came out. Sarah D. Irish, as I think how her name is on Twitter, she sent me this information because she asked Matthew Gamet about this. We went through it because it showed on 12/5, all of a sudden, that drop of evidence, that drop of information put Bryan Kohberger's name on the line for the second suspect, not the first one, the entire time that the documents were being handled, all the way until 2025 summer. There is still, to this day, a lead suspect that is redacted on the first freaking line, and Bryan Kohberger's name is on the second line. This is an index for what we're about to go through. And notice at the top, what do you see? A redacted name above Bryan Kohberger's name. If he's your only suspect and he's the only person that you think did this, why is his not A, the only name there, but B, he's the one in jail? So why isn't his name the top? It's very, very freaking strange the way that this looks. This is an index of when things were submitted over to ISP. This first one right here, as you can see, is when they got the knife sheath. These dates are going to correlate with the other documents that we just went over to show you like how the suspect names were like written down in there. So this is 11/16/22. Dustin Blaker is the one who's the investigating officer. I didn't see Payne's name on any of this stuff. This is them only having the victims' names on here, with the K-bar sheath being what they got in on the 16th. We've gone through that extensively. Now, we did get information back from MPD regarding the knife sheath from the 13th to the 16th before it was actually picked up and brought to the lab. We paid almost $200, and out of 685 emails, they were only allowed to give us 2 and 3 photos. I'll have a link for that video down in the description box. We move to 11/18/22, and all of a sudden we have a suspect marking. Now this matters because when it comes to the information that we went through last night, 11/17/22 is when they started pulling DNA and working on the knife sheath. That's when it started, and this would be the day after. So if they've already pulled information and now they have a redacted suspect name, okay, I'll give you that. But you also have 2 other subjects. I'm going to assume that this is Dylan and Bethany because they're the only other like double that we would most likely see together. What else is important here is what was sent in. See how this says swab a front strap? Actually, do you notice that it says resubmission and it's just of the strap? That might actually be saying what we've been trying to figure out this entire time. We're going to have to come back to this. I mean, well, we have the 3 additional people added, but after all those things were then checked out, we have 1 suspect. So then we move down to the next time they got it, evidence submission receipt, 11/21/22. We still have the 1 person with the redacted name at the top as a suspect. That has not changed. Neither has the additional subjects. So there's no additional people being added, just additional evidence being added for this specific one. And then we have the next one, which is the next day on 11/22/22. And we still have a blank name listed as a suspect, but now we've moved on and added an additional subject. Okay, so now we have 11/28/22, and we still have the 3 subjects, the 1 suspect that's completely redacted. Now here we have 12/5/22, and this first submission that is for this date does not have Bryan's name on it. Now we have 12/5/2022 again, and this is where Bryan Kohberger's name pops up on here. Actually, do you notice that it says resubmission and it's just of the strap? That might actually be saying what we've been trying to figure out this entire time. We're going to have to come back to this. I questioned this. I didn't know why it did that. We went through the whole thing. We tried to figure it out. Sarah sent me the fact that she'd already asked Matthew Gammett about this. And then it turned out that it was just like the way that the system inputs information when it's getting printed. But this is a question that I'm really glad that they've put this out here for. The statement is to clarify page 28 of 2,356 of records released. And there's the file right there. Our Idaho State Police Forensics Laboratory Information Management System is programmed to normally print a PDF to the database based on the case file information available when the evidence is received in the lab. That PDF is stored in the database, and that stored PDF is reprinted anytime that information is called for again from the database, such as a discovery request or a public records request. Unfortunately, that print to PDF storage in the database did not happen on this specific submission. Our laboratory information management team has confirmed via the database date and timestamp that the name Bryan Kohberger was added to this request on January 5th, 2023. So the fact that it was sitting there on a document for December 5/22 was an error. But honestly, that doesn't make sense to me either. Why would Bryan Kohberger's name only show up in results for things after he was arrested? Wouldn't it be showing up as of 12/19? Wouldn't it be showing up prior to his arrest, considering the fact that they've given us a date that the FBI gave MPD the name? Technically, it probably should have shown up way before that. And even if it would show up sometime after 12/19, it would still have needed to have showed up sometime after 12/19, but most likely prior to his arrest, correct? Because at that point, they were actively looking for information for him, and ISP's information would have been updated with all of that because they would have been trying to cross-reference everything they could, knowing now they had a name, right? I'm sorry, but like this still doesn't really add up to me. It just seems like they're trying to claim that it's some sort of program error to cover up for something else. Because the documentation for the public release of this information was printed recently, the print to PDF function pulled information from the database that was not part of the record on December 5th, 2022. Had the record been generated before January 5th, 2023, no suspect name would have appeared on the document. The information provided is accurate overall, but does not reflect the limited information ISPFS had at the time of the original submission. Okay, you guys, I will admit that at first I did not catch the little resubmission thing. I didn't notice it until I was going in and editing the clips that I was putting together for this video. When I saw that we had the errors, I rethought about that. Originally, I thought there was only 2 submissions for 12.522, but going back and looking at the indexes, there's actually 3 separate submissions for 12.522. And we see that the strap is considered a resubmission. And we also see that there is still a suspect above Bryan Kohberger's name. So does that mean that 2 different Q-tips were swabbed and cut and sent in? Or was it a profile that was created from the original one that was sent in and considered a resubmission? What exactly does this resubmission mean? I'm going to definitely be asking that very specific question because Matthew Gamet seems to have no issue answering questions. They just have to be submitted in the right way. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and get that written up and submitted by the end of the day on Monday. I'm currently recording this on Sunday. It's around 3:45 p.m. on December 14th, 2025. I'm going to get this posted and get this out. I want you guys' opinion on this and what you think this could mean because we've had so many issues with the DNA. We already know that the judge ordered both sides to create a narrative about the IGG that basically took the FBI completely out of it, even though, again, as most of you guys know that have been here and following this, the FBI did literally everything in this case. Literally everything. I'll put a video together that shows the proof of all of that. This was not an MPD or a state level investigation. Everything that was done by the FBI. It's a big, big issue, especially when we have the state prosecutor, Bill Thompson, coming out and doing interviews and telling the entire world that the FBI profilers told them way back in the beginning of this, within just a few weeks of the murders, way before they even sent the DNA off to Othram, got it back, sent it to the FBI, and all the crazy shit happened, okay? Way before any of that. The FBI told them it would be completely pointless to try to get any information from the person that ended up being arrested for this crime because it wouldn't make sense to a normal human. So there'd be no point in trying to get a confession or details or find out where the weapon is or any of those things. It would be pointless. Everyone needs to seriously sit back and think about what is happening here. They really, really do. I know a lot of you guys are here because you understand what's happening. These are not things that are being made up. These are real-time situations that there is proof for, that there is documents for. Nothing that we are discussing here is made up. It is all actual, factual facts. That's what people need to understand here. This is serious stuff. This could be anyone. This makes zero sense. And now that we have a resubmission on the strap Q-tip swab on 12/5/2022, where his name pops up as the second line, and we have kept a first suspect this entire time, you have to wonder if this is where the problem was. Why was it resubmitted? What was resubmitted? How was it resubmitted? What's the full details on that? I'm going to dig a little further into the documents, but I know when we went through everything, we only had one detail for the actual results of that testing. We don't have double results, just the one. So I don't know if we're going to actually find answers in what we have right now, but I damn sure am going to ask them if they can give us some more details. And since there's no gag order, I don't see why they couldn't. So let's see what happens. Now, also thinking about this resubmission, do you guys remember in the very beginning, we were told that the first time they tried to find any DNA on that sheath, they couldn't find any? So does that mean that there were actually more swabs taken than they have documented? And this resubmission is when they actually did find it? A lot of us heard that. A lot of us remember hearing that originally they found nada. But for now, I want to know what you guys are thinking about this. I think this is a really important topic, and I really want to know what you guys have to say. Let me know down in the comments. If you like the way that I present this information and give my opinion, please don't forget to leave a like on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already, and please don't forget to make sure that that notification bell is set to all so you don't miss any of my rants, reviews, reactions, updates, or deep dives. See y'all.